So if the moon was so important, why haven't we gone back since 1969, right? And that's because it's the MacGuffin. You know, Hitchcock film, he had something which everybody thought was really important. That wasn't what was important about the moonshot. It wasn't the moon itself. It was this symbology of going to the moon politically, but it is also a much more important economic investment that was made. $100 billion was invested in the American economy in training engineers, in developing better materials in order to be able to come back through the atmosphere, integrated circuits that would allow us to compute information in real time as the astronauts were circling the moon. Rockets, nobody could build a rocket big enough to go to the moon in 1961 when the announcement was made. And here's an interesting factoid. The average age of an engineer in 1969, when Neil Armstrong actually stepped foot on the moon, was 26. And what that means is that 8 years earlier, they were all in school. This, I think, is by far the most important thing that has come out of all of these major projects, going all the way from the war on cancer, the human genomic project, and the Brain Initiative, is that this is an investment in new technology that is going to have an influence on the economy. For example, the Human Genomics Project. The Battelle Institute did a study. For every dollar that was invested, which is about $5 billion, and I think it was about $3 to $3.5 billion. For every dollar that was invested, there's $140 in economic activity that was generated, not just in the healthcare industry, but also in agribusiness, in ways that nobody could have predicted. And in the case of the war on cancer, we haven't beat cancer, but it created a biotech industry based on recombinant DNA technology. So it's really the investment, not just in the technology, but it's an investment in intellectual capital, into the engineers that are going to be trained, and the neuroscience is going to be trained. In other words, a whole generation are really inspired now. They really think that they can make a contribution. And what's really, for me, very, very satisfying is that a lot of I talk to some of these young people when they're making their decision. They come to me, they ask me, what's going to happen over the next 10 years? And a lot of them who would have gone, these are really smart kids graduating from Harvard, who would have gone to investment banking are actually going into the Brain Initiative. They're going into neuroscience. And they're coming from engineering schools. They're coming from biological backgrounds, from mathematics. So I really think that this is an opportunity for the nation to do something really good for our, for the future.